All right. So the New York Times, trying to make up for getting scooped by the Wall Street Journal on the birthday book, got a hold of leaked pictures of the inside of Jeffrey Epstein's creepy mansion. He bought this in 1998 from his buddy Lex Wexner over at Victoria's Secret, billionaire who, for no apparent reason, was paying Epstein all kinds of money to be an advisor. Even though more money than Warren Buffett has ever been paid to be an advisor. This was a 21,000 square foot townhouse. I've gone to the outside. It's like half a block off from Central Park.
That's right. He's on the Upper East Side, right? And
The Upper East Side.
It was Weinstein
It's
who
like
was in
right
the
off
village,
Fifth.
right?
Yeah, it's right off Fifth Avenue. Beautiful townhouse. Very mysterious.
Yeah, for some reason, I always think it's in the village, but that's Weinstein was in the village, and Epstein was uptown. I got my rich Jewish sex criminals mixed up.
You did.
Weinstein's downtown.
Well, I bike around there a lot.
Yeah.
So I looked up the address at one point and just rode over there. It's right. It's pretty close to the Frick. As a gift for Jeffrey Epstein's 63rd birthday, friends sent letters in tribute to the wealthy financier and convicted sex offender. Several shared a common theme, recounting the dinner gatherings that Mr. Epstein regularly hosted at his palatial townhouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Ehud Barak. Now, it doesn't mention this in the article, but from what I've seen, we know of at least 16 visits he made to that townhouse, I believe it is. Former Prime Minister of Israel and his wife noted the great diversity of guests. There is no limit to your curiosity, they wrote in their message, which was compiled with others in January 2016. You are like a closed book to many of them, but you know everything about everyone. Huh. Now, what could that mean coming from a former Israeli prime minister in a house full of sex crimes with cameras up in all the corners, as we will see? I wonder what he meant. Now, also remember, they don't have the excuse that the people in the birthday book from 2003 had, that he wasn't a convicted sex offender yet. At this point, he's a convicted sex offender.
Oh, yeah, like 7 years prior to this, right? What was his plea deal? 08, something like that?
This was 08.
Yeah.
So 8 years prior.
Right.
This is 2016. The media mogul Mortimer Zuckerman suggested ingredients for a meal that would reflect the culture of the mansion. A simple salad and whatever else would enhance Jeffrey's sexual performance. So they know that he is a convicted pedophile. And it sounds like it was just kind of an open joke. Hey, Jeffrey and his sexual libido. Wow, there are always these pretty young girls there. Somebody who was quite explicit about that was Woody Allen. Birds of a feather. Being neighbors, my wife Sun Yi and I have been invited to dinner many times. Always accept, always interesting, wide variety of interesting people at every dinner, just about. Politicians, scientists, teachers, magicians, comedians, intellectuals, journalists, an entomologist, a concert pianist. Anyhow, it's always interesting, and the food is sumptuous and abundant. Lots of dishes, plenty of choices, numerous desserts, well served. I say well served, often it's by some professional houseman, and just as often by several young women, reminding one of Castle Dracula, where Lugosi has 3 young female vampires who service the place. And to this, that Jeffrey lives in a vast house alone. And one can picture him sleeping in damp earth. Okay. Yeah.
That would be a great play. Just to have all these like celebrities at Epstein's house for dinner one night.
My Dinner with Jeffrey.
Yeah, exactly.
So he goes on in this letter really to credit Sun Yi, his child bride, with having upped Jeffrey's dinner game. According to the letter, when they first went, there was such small portions, everyone was complaining, and they went out to eat afterwards. Then next time it was takeout Chinese. So apparently it was under Sun Yi's tutelage that he upped his dinner game, and it became these sumptuous multi-course dinners done by a private chef. But here you've got a convicted sex criminal who, according to Woody, very often would have young women doing the serving, and nobody thought that was creepy. Apparently not. Apparently they thought it was funny, if you look at the Mort Zuckerman letter to him. So it just really shows you what disgusting people these elites are and how much impunity they feel.
Right.
Hey, he seems to be accepted by the rich people, so guess he's all right. Doesn't matter what his past crimes have been. He donates to Harvard. It's fine. I'll go to dinner at his house.
Yep, exactly.
So they showed a lot of pictures there. Mr. Epstein smiling alongside Pope John Paul II. That's in the lower left there. Mick Jagger is the top. Elon Musk is in the middle there. And then the far right, oh, man, there's a sad day for our commie friends. Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro. Now, hey, in terms of Fidel Castro, in terms of the Pope, Hunter Biden, we're going to get into this in another segment. Hunter Biden actually made this point. I think he was way too dismissive of the idea of this being a kind of conspiratorial thing that a lot of people knew about. But he does make the point that, like, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein insinuated himself into places where not everybody who took a picture with Jeffrey Epstein was involved in his crimes, and not everybody who accepted a dinner at his house was then going upstairs with an underage masseuse. I don't think that Noam Chomsky, for example, is implicated in crimes. I think Fidel Castro, I think a lot of these people are implicated in not caring about his crimes because he was throwing a lot of money around. And it apparently, for whatever reason, to their eye, looking at him, well, whatever he did, he seems to have been accepted back into society. So who am I to ask questions? Who am I to judge?
Right.
He's still rich. He still insinuates himself with all these people. Now, I don't know what the context of Castro is. You do have to ask why one of the world's most famous communist revolutionaries is even in a room with a guy like that. But I don't know the context.
Yeah, little context for the Pope conversation. There is a caption if you zoom in. Epstein tells the Pope, he says, "Whoa, I like him young, but not that young." So that actually makes Epstein
who
look
is
pretty
the Pope
good
to
by
judge?
comparison.
That's
yeah,
true.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's true. But yes, it is true that Epstein, because of whoever was, in my opinion, whoever was funding him and keeping him at these levels of society. Yeah, man. I mean, you just see him at a party and you get your picture taken. Why are you, unless you really know the backstory, why would you think anything?
Right.
So I'm not saying everyone who ever got a picture with Jeffrey Epstein was in on it. I think that's unreasonable, but I think a lot of them were. So,
Fidel could have been making a cigar delivery. You never know.
He might have. He might have. Well, that would have been for Bill Clinton. That was, he had this special kind of humidor he liked to use.
True. Yes. Yeah.
So you got Larry Summers there on the left, the old pervert himself in the middle there, Bill Clinton, Richard Branson up there on the right. Now this is an autographed dollar bill from Bill Gates that says, "I was wrong," suggesting he lost some kind of a bet. Now, Ghislaine and Epstein broke up in 2015. So that's the infamous picture on the right there of the four of them, but she's cut out of it, actually. Now, Bill Gates, you might remember him being asked about his relationship with Epstein. And as Dan Rather might have said, he was more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. So let's take a look at how he responded.
What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, and, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so in general, you always have to be careful. And I'm very proud of what we've done in philanthropy. Very proud of the work of the foundation. That's what I get up every day and focus on.
Done talking about Epstein for the time being.
Yeah, does that look like an innocent man to you? Does that look like a man with nothing to hide to you? And I'm sure that is true of a good many of them, even those who didn't actually partake in any sex crimes, knew about it. Just like with Weinstein, everybody knew. I can't remember the name of that screenwriter. He wrote that great article where he said, yeah, listen, everybody knew. Everybody in Hollywood knew. Of course they knew. Of course they knew. How do you keep a secret like that? Of course people knew, especially people who are associating with him after he's a convicted fan of the playground. Come on. At best, they all knew about it and didn't care. So this is his office. In the office, according to photos reviewed by the Times, Mr. Epstein showcased a green first edition of Lolita, the 1955 novel in which an intellectual develops a sexual obsession with a 12-year-old girl and repeatedly assaults her. Atop a wooden sideboard were more framed photos, including one of Mr. Epstein with Saudi Arabia's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman. There's that picture. So yeah, when you do a framed, autographed copy of Lolita in your office, you're very proud of what you do, and you want people to know about it, and you want to make it an open joke. Or
Right.
why else would you do that? Why else would you put Lolita on display when you're a convicted sex offender for that particular crime?
Well,
Put
yeah.
that on display. What is that about?
You want to be
wanna
open
rub
about it.
people's
Yeah.
face in it.
Well,
Right.
you want to be open about it because you want people to feel comfortable doing it in front of you so you can film them.
Right. Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's true too. Yep. So this is
Case in point.
This is the Epstein bedroom, and there's a camera you see
Right.
up in the corner. Now, the massage room was, if I understand correctly, in the same general area. Here's a second camera in an adjoining room. Several of Mr. Epstein's victims have said the mansion was outfitted with a network of hidden video cameras. In the massage room were paintings of naked women, a large silver ball and chain, and shelves stocked with lubricant, according to photos reviewed by the Times. Receipts showed that Diddy had the same supplier. No, that's not in there. Mr. Epstein regularly directed teenage girls, some recruited from middle schools in Queens, to massage him while he was naked. Sometimes he masturbated in front of them, according to court records and interviews with victims. Sometimes he fill in the blank. No surveillance cameras were visible in the photos of the massage room. The Times reviewed 7 birthday messages given to Mr. Epstein in 2016. In addition to those from Mr. Zuckerman, Mr. Allen, and Mr. Barack, there were letters from the linguist Noam Chomsky and his wife. Jochi Ito, an entrepreneur who years later would resign from MIT and the board of the New York Times Company because of his ties to Mr. Epstein, and Lawrence M. Krauss, a prominent physicist. Martin Nowak, a Harvard biologist, contributed a science-themed poem. In their typed letter, Mr. Barack and his wife, Nili Priel, hailed Mr. Epstein as a collector of people. The letter concluded, "May you enjoy long and healthy life, and may all of us, your friends, enjoy your table for many more years to come." Okay. So this does provide yet another window into the hypocrisy of the elite class, because this is the same class that wants to lecture people on their morality. But they have no real morality for themselves. Everything is do as I say, not as I do. It's good for me. It's not good for you. And this certainly, whatever you think about the conspiracy, you can see here very clearly how the vision of a cabal of global fans of the playground connected to the WEF, who want you to own nothing and be happy and eat bugs, congealed into one overarching explanation for the world that we live in and how it got this way and where it's going. And this is why Trump is having such a hard time making this go away. It's foundational to his whole political movement. These creeps who at best turned a blind eye to what they knew he was doing. And at worst, and I think this is unquestionably true of many of them, including quite possibly Donald Trump, they were complicit in his crimes. And these are the people running the world. The cognitive dissonance for a lot of Trump supporters is this whole idea that this was basically libs that they hate and not their own people. That's been shattered by the way that they have handled these files. And it's the reason he's not able to just make them focus on something else like Russiagate, the way historically he's been able to do.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, to make the timing worse, this happens in conjunction with an Israeli genocide. I just want to call your attention. Okay, so what's with the blue and white color schemes where all the bad shit goes down? If you notice on his island, the island's getaway house was blue and white striped as well. These are the Israeli colors. Like, that's bizarre. That's really bizarre. And I think it's intentionally bizarre. I think you're sending a message that, yes, these are the people who now own your ass, right? These are the people who own your ass now. Yeah, I mean, this is the from the river to the sea. It's the Israeli flag color scheme where all the bad shit happens. All the bad shit happens in the blue and white rooms. What, you're going to tell me that's a coincidence? I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second.
Interesting.
The plot thickens. Yes.
Please clap.